Bombay Beach is a town that sits on the Salton Sea, an accidental sea that was once called a miracle in the desert. During the 1950s, this town was a super popular beach-going destination, attracting celebrities such as Frank Sinatra, the Beatles, and Bing Crosby. But when the sea started draining and a runoff of salty chemicals killed all the wildlife, people left the town in droves, eventually rendering Bombay Beach a ghost town. So naturally, I decided to head out there to see what it was all about. I wanted to talk to the locals, to see what their daily life was like, and also to see if I could track down the one lesbian I saw live there online. What I didn't know at the time was that the next 24 hours was going to be wilder than I could have ever expected. But I won't get ahead of myself. Bombay Beach, here we are. I made it. I had a couple hours to kill before it's time to check into my Airbnb for the night, so I decided to venture around a bit. First stop, the only market in town. How are you? Good, thank you. A year. This is so cool in here. I love it. Being that the closest real grocery store is about a 45-minute drive from this town, I'm assuming locals come here for the essentials.
Give you a license, but then bury it.
You can keep the rest. Take care.
You don't
Alright.
choice between one of these things.
Next on the agenda was one of the two restaurants in town, the Ski Inn. This is really where the story begins. There's something about super small towns that truly fascinates me. Maybe it's because I've lived in major cities for the past 15 or so years of my life, but in this town of less than 300 people, even walking into the Ski Inn perked my interest. No one's wearing a mask here, so I guess I don't have to. If I'm gonna get food, I just grab a table, or? Okay, cool, thank you so much.
Corona.
Let's do Corona.
Modelo.
I'll also do Modelo.
Okay, light or dark?
Light, and then you guys get a side of fries too.
Okay.
And that's all for now. Thank you so much.
Name?
Matt. I appreciate you, thank you.
Okay.
I thought maybe he would be one I could ask about queer people in town.
Oh, nice. Looks good. Thank you.
But clearly he did not want to have a conversation with me. But then something happened.
We'll go grab a drink.
Okay, cool, yeah. Perfect. I happened to start talking to two guys who just so happened to be a gay married couple in Bombay Beach. It was kismet. I asked them if they'd be comfortable being in the episode, and the rest is really history. The one in the blue shirt is Chris, and the one in the green is James. They ended up to be major players in the next two videos as we meet the town of Bombay Beach.
You guys just got married, right?
We did. We were the first gay wedding in Bombay Beach.
Does everyone know you guys as like the gay couple here?
Yeah.
Are there people here that aren't down for gay people, or?
Only 6 or 8 that have a problem with it. And if they're sitting out here drinking beer, they don't have a problem with it. But anytime it's like the gay wedding or
Yeah.
a gay party or something, like, no, I don't believe in it. And I'm like, all right, no problem. We met online.
When you first met each other, did you know right away that...
Kind of had a feeling.
Really?
Yeah, it was kind of neat.
It was a 4-hour drive for him to get to Seattle, so he started coming over every other third weekend, and we just like spent a year and got to know each other.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. No idea, but you did something.
You live in your parents' old house, right?
My dad's. He bought a garage and there was just a little house attached to it. So
Yeah, he bought it for the garage, not for the house.
our garage was nice.
Why don't you just move into the? Can you make that garage into a living place, or not have more
And
room?
I have nowhere for my...
Your toys. What's wrong with this?
Yeah,
You don't need a house. You only need a place to put your bed so that you can sleep, so that you can go riding and off-road.
We continued talking and laughing with our friends behind us until the conversation took a bit of a turn and Chris started to share his story.
Sister, we've both been HIV positive for like 36 years. Because when she had her first kid, it's before they tested the blood supply, and so she contracted HIV. And then had 2 kids after that before she knew.
Wait, so you and your sister both are HIV positive? And how did she find out, you said?
Actually, she'd been positive for maybe 7 or 8 years before she knew. Back then, they didn't test the blood supply when she had this transfusion. So that's how she contracted it.
She had a transfusion, like she needed blood.
When she had her first child. Yeah.
One of Julie's children is Ryan Lewis, who you may know as being part of Macklemore, the Grammy Award-winning hip-hop duo.
Before they tested blood for HIV.
And they can tell that that's where she got it from?
Exactly. Because the dude whose blood she got, they traced it to the doctor that ordered the blood. And he knew exactly just when he got the call who it was that had that.
That is the most unfortunate story.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So we've had a really unique relationship.
And how did you find out that you were positive?
I got shingles.
How long ago was this?
1980.
So this was during the prime of.
Oh yeah.
So you were one of those cases, but thankfully you're still here.
Yeah, I was on AZT for 11 years, and so was Julie. We just happened to tolerate it, because a lot of people couldn't. Because basically it was poison.
Was it a scary time, like living
Well,
through
yeah,
that?
because we weren't going to live at that point. It's before they came out with the cocktails and
it was just this
40
mystery disease that nobody knew
Yeah.
about.
But we survived.
So it's really bonded you and your sister together because this is, I've never heard of a brother and a sister having HIV.
She just moved to Spokane, Washington, a week after she found out, and there was basically no medical community over there that back then dealt with it. The AZT made her pretty sick, and so Ryan was 2, I think, and so she'd lay between the family room and the bathroom on the floor because she called me one day and she said, I can't do this. And I said, Julie, it's the only thing there is. I said, you've got to do that. That's all there is to help you.
Will you tell me about when you found out that you had it?
Sure.
I just want to know your story. So you said you had shingles. And
Yeah, I got shingles, and then that's when I found out.
You went to the doctors,
Mm-hmm.
and did they know right away?
No, they tested me.
And then they called you, or what?
Yeah.
And what was that like?
At that point, I was just kind of numb to the whole thing because, I'd had tons of friends that had died at that point. I didn't even go on AZT until I moved back to Seattle.
Why?
Because nothing was out at that point.
So it was just kind of oh, sorry, you have it.
Yep. When I found out, I quit drinking, I quit drugging, I quit everything, which I think contributes to why I'm still here.
How did people react in your life when you told them that you had it?
I didn't share it with my family for a few years. Then when Julie came down with it, we had to go tell my parents one day, at the same time that 2 of their kids weren't going to be here,
Oh my gosh.
That was a hard day.
How did your parents react?
It kind of shattered them, I think. My dad was a real positive, you're going to beat this type person, and my mom was really quiet.
I cannot imagine that news as a parent. When did things take a turn for you with that, when you realized, I'm not dying and I'm going to be okay?
Actually, I had this partner for maybe about 13 years, Jay. I would have probably broken up with him maybe 7 years before I did, but I didn't want to die alone. And so finally, after I was on the good drugs, and things turned, finally one day I woke up and I went, I think I'm gonna live. And so I
See ya.
rid of Jay. On her 30th anniversary, she started a nonprofit called the 3030 Project, and her goal was to build 30 medical facilities in the most HIV-infected countries. And it took 5 years, and they raised money. And of course, Macklemore and Ryan, raised a lot of money.
As I poured my second beer, I thought about how thankful I was that Chris shared his story. It always interests me how sometimes, with complete strangers, you feel so comfortable opening up. Sometimes even more comfortable than with a close friend.
Oh my gosh. Hey, Matt. Nice to meet you guys.
Only an hour or so in, and the people of Bombay seemed to accept me with open arms. I was loving the whole vibe and felt so lucky to be under Chris and James's wing to explore Bombay, from a local's perspective. It's funny looking back at this footage because at the time, I had no idea what was in store for me.
This is what I'm saying. Holy cool.
But that will all be next week's episode, and trust me, it's a fun, exciting one.
Yes.